Okay, and welcome, guys. Welcome to Under the Lights, a brand new podcast coming to you with Hannah Mitchell and Sara Bradley, a podcast and page about female bodybuilding run by female bodybuilders. We thought it was about time that this happened. I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity to be able to provide education, information, and bring everything about female bodybuilding to light, basically. So I'm here now with the one and only Sara Bradley and the
Absolutely.
beautiful cats.
Yeah, he just seems to every time I'm doing like work or whatever, he just seems to want to come and fuck around. Like it's just how cats are. My dog's like very sweetly just sat here with his little treat, but he's just like, you know what, fuck you guys, do what the fuck I want.
Want to be involved? No, I'm here for
Yeah,
that. It's
absolutely.
cute.
Yeah,
How are
but
you
no,
feeling today?
yeah, really good, mate. Really good. Like what you just said. I think it's about time that there was a page actually run by female bodybuilders for female bodybuilding. I think a lot of the social media outlets are run by male individuals. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but I think it lacks a certain perspective that I think all of us female bodybuilders go through, or females within the fitness industry. So if we can, obviously we're both very community based. We have obviously our own businesses that are very kind of about bringing people together and bringing confidence and things like that. And I think that's why we resonate so well together, is because we want to create a community for people that is a positive one, that promotes self-love and just being the best person that you can be. So we want to do that just via our podcast and try and help people. And obviously there is an Instagram page which is under the lights underscore BB podcast, which obviously will link to this and stuff like that, which will be up and running today. And we'll just be feeding through bits of information about up and coming amateurs that we think should have the limelight a little bit more. Because again, that's something that I think is missed, is a lot of these amateurs that aren't getting the notice that they should be. So again, that's one reason why we've kind of come on here to kind of just give female bodybuilding the love it deserves.
Exactly that. And of course, talk about things that maybe other people won't be speaking about, highlighting areas within the sport that we love so much, that I feel like a lot of the time nowadays, bodybuilding has become a lot more accessible, which is incredible. But I think with that, a lot has been taken away from how incredible bodybuilding is. And there's been a lot of kind of negative talk about bodybuilding. At the same time, we're going to be, making sure that we're covering all bases, natural and assisted timelines, shows, the calendars, like the athletes, again, that maybe haven't been spoken about because that they haven't maybe had the millions of followers on Instagram. And we're here to kind of highlight those individuals as well, that they might be just, I don't know, Jenny from round the corner that doesn't even have an Instagram, and we want to shout about them. So
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
this podcast is all about. Today, though, we are going to be just doing a little bit of a run through breakdown about who we are, a bit of an intro, and also speak about 2025, maybe also covering a little bit about who stood out to us,
Yeah,
and the people that we're very excited about for 2026.
absolutely. That's the plan. That's the plan of action. So do you want me to start?
Let's do
So
it.
I'm sure people who kind of are into this podcast or become into this podcast kind of know who we are. But obviously, I'm Sara Bradley. I'm an IFBB pro in the women's physique division. Started competing in 2018. Forever I can remember the minute I could walk and run. I was in sport. Obviously, before I started bodybuilding, I was into football, athletics, all that good stuff. And then I started university. My degree is in sports therapy. I provided medical support for teams along in the southwest, like rugby, hockey, football. It was my jam. Like I just fixed broken ankles and broken noses and stuff on the weekends, and absolutely loved that. So I did that for 5 years, and then moved into again. I went back. Obviously, did that self-employed, and then moved back into full-time work because I wanted to move out, because I'm a lone duck. I like to be independent,
Yeah.
and so unfortunately,
Yeah.
like sports therapy is a poor man's physio, essentially. It's not a covered name. So like any Tom, Dick and Harry can be a sports therapist, whether you've got like a degree. A lot of people go from sports therapy into physiotherapy, which obviously is, the coveted name that everyone wants. And to work in professional sport, you need to be a physio 9 times out of 10. So
Yes.
because I didn't really want to do physio because I didn't want to work in the NHS. So you have to do everything. Essentially, if you do physio at university, you have to do everything like respiratory, musculoskeletal, and everything, and then you
Yeah.
specialise. And I
Yeah.
didn't want to spend any more time at university. So
Yeah.
just did my pitch side support, and then I came away, went back into full-time work. And my jam's like warehousing work. I've done warehousing work since I was like fucking 14. I
Yeah.
worked for Clark's Shoes for a long time.
Yeah.
Love that fucking job. You know,
Mate,
Clark's hit me up,
I
you know.
was a Gap girl. I worked
Yeah.
in Gap for fucking years.
Yeah, so yeah, I fucking love that job. So I did nights for Clark's for a long time, and then I actually worked for Asda in the warehouses and the freezers,
Yeah.
where I did that for ages. And then I branched off after a few years working for Asda, and obviously became an online coach. So when I kind of finished
With that,
university around 28.
Sarah, like, how many years were you bodybuilding whilst maintaining, like, you know, the normal job? Because I think that's even something that so many people nowadays find so strange is when you've got a normal job and
Mm.
you're, well, were you a professional bodybuilder at that point still?
No, so the year I turned pro, I actually went into full-time coaching, which was
Amazing, right?
amazing.
Yeah,
But prior to that, I was obviously my main years bodybuilding or being on stage. So I stepped on stage in 2018. That was my first year,
yeah.
and that was with PCA. And I
I would
started,
have loved to have seen that.
yeah, trade. So we started an athletic figure, and then obviously the guy
You
was
wore
like,
heels.
yeah, mate, honestly, I'd have to find the photos. I wore the smallest like kitten heels ever, and I like shuffled onto the stage because I wouldn't wear them any time else. So you can just see me like shuffling. I swear to God, my quarter turns, my ass is so far like back. I literally look like a peacock. Like it's crazy. It's hilarious. I have to post some photos because it is ridiculous. But yes, I
Love it.
started an athletic figure, and then obviously they just moved me up because I was fucking shredded.
Yeah.
So yeah, moved up. And obviously during this time, I was working in the freezers. So as you can imagine, being like, well, actually no, it was just before I was working in the freezers when I turned pro. So I was still kind of working as pitch side during that time. Obviously, pitch side, you're out in the fucking cold, looking after
Freezing.
people. So you kind of need to have that mental capacity anyway.
Yeah.
But the first year of competing was brilliant. Like it's as a first timer show should be. Just fucking went in, enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
had no expectations. And obviously went into won the category, won the overall, which was fucking sick. So it was London PCA, so that was fucking brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one thing I actually said to someone the other day. And I'm forever grateful to be a pro because that's my lifelong dream, right? But if I could go back, I would do way more amateur shows because
Yes.
I only did PCA Londons and I only did the PCA British Finals, and those were my only two PCA shows. And I wish I could have done more within PCA because the
Oh,
shows now I watch some of my clients and I'm like, fucking hell,
yeah.
this is such a good show, like such a
Yeah,
good show.
I entirely agree. Funnily enough, I mean, I feel like this podcast anyway, we're going to interject with certain things. I'm sure
Mhm.
we'll find our way back to the actual point at some point, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I actually, funnily enough, was speaking to a client the other day because it's their first season, and you know they're getting excited and speaking about their goals, and they're like, "Oh, I want to turn pro," and I went, "Look, that's incredible, but
Mhm.
also being an amateur is so much fun,
Yeah.
like." When I first started bodybuilding, I'm not going to go into my whole story, don't worry. But when I first started, it was, you know, my first show was 2019. We're soldiers here, we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, we're residents. And with that, I went in with like no expectations, but I came out of it thinking, oh, I want to get a pro card, blah blah blah. Obviously, it's only happened in 2025, so that's 6 years that it took that long to get
Mhm.
a pro card. And within those 6 years, I've been able to have so much fun
Yeah.
because I've been able to just go into any amateur show. You know, you don't have any restrictions, like you don't have to sign any contracts, you know, that side of thing. And I find that you've also got to remember that when you do enter the pro league, you're now completely a beginner again of like a brand new
Yeah.
standard.
Absolutely.
So if anything, when you do get, you know, your pro card, you're kind of like having to be a complete beginner again. So being able to really enjoy the amateur seasons
Mhm.
and just be like dotting about, maybe even international shows and things, right?
Yeah, for
Whereas
sure.
now I can imagine you being a pro, there's limited shows. You're only able to travel to certain places for shows. There's just a lot of, I guess, restriction in a way.
Yeah, that I think that's it, and I think a lot of people actually like because I've spoken to some of my clients about this, and obviously other people as well. But when you turn pro, you are contracted to the IFBB, so you can't promote other federations. Like it's obviously it's very difficult as an online coach as well because I can't
Yes.
say I've been to this PCA show X, Y, and Z with a client because that's technically promoting. You can kind of take photos with clients at shows, but you just can't be like, this is PCA. Like, so obviously a lot of people are like, oh, that's really unfair. But equally as well, like I've signed
Yeah.
a contract to the IFBB, you know.
Yeah. Those are the rules.
That's it exactly. And as well, like, and this is one thing that I always highlight and we will continue to highlight in obviously this podcast is, you know, as a women's physique competitor, I am very little. A lot of my shows are in the States. There's like a couple in Europe, but they are all in the States. You want to be in the States if you want to qualify for the A because you're in front of Olympia judges. Like,
Yeah.
so a lot of people don't take that into account. Like, you have to have the funds to be able to travel. And we're talking, Han, like, and you would have known because you traveled to the States this year to compete as well. Like, we're talking, I
Thousands.
mean, yeah, exactly. Like this year, with the shows that I'm doing, like it will probably cost me 6, 7 grand to compete. And when you have these newbies that do turn pro, they can't debut in years because they have no fucking money. And I think that sucks that it's like that. And obviously, we will continue to try and fight for UK shows for those bigger girls. But like, it's just something that I think isn't spoken about because it's just our women's physique that they'll sort themselves out, which is it's unfortunate that it's the case. But you know, I think it is important that people do just embrace like if you're someone that wants to turn pro or that is in the future, whatever, just have so much fun as an amateur because there's no fucking pressure. You just turn up, have some fun. Like again, I was speaking to someone the other day, and he was like, and this was well, not the other day, it was actually last year now when I pulled that prep. It feels like yes,
Yeah.
well, it was last year, a few days ago.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting down and I was just about to have my blood done, and I said, oh, I was talking about the pressure, and I was like, I just feel so much pressure going into this next season. And he was like, you know what, Sar, like that's why don't really want to be a pro because I just love competing. And I love competing. Like a lot of people sometimes like, oh, I just don't really like the competing stuff, but I love it. Like it's just the
Yeah.
best thing, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think just like you said, Han, like just the pro card will come if you are ready for it and you've worked your ass off for it, but don't rush the process. Like enjoy the process because it's really really important that people do, and I regret not doing that. I just obviously, you know, pro card was always something that I wanted to achieve, and I felt that I could achieve it, and I was very, you know, it's very rare to I only did 4 amateur shows and then I turned pro, so it was kind of a very quick turnaround, right? So yeah, so PCA and then PCA British Finals where I placed third, and Michelle Ines, who beat me that year, who came first at the British, she turned pro that year anyway. And then I had hefty off season for 2 years, so I think I was going to have a year and a bit off, and then obviously the COVID hit, so I had an even longer off season, and that's when I moved into women's physique. Now I've always wanted to do women's physique because when I grew up, I idolized Dana Lynn Bailey. I've obviously told you about that plenty of time, and if you've followed me
Yeah.
for a long time, you know I'm obsessed with this woman.
Yeah.
And I liked her because she was fucking different. Like she wasn't like, I don't know, she wasn't fake. Like she didn't have big tits and blonde hair. Like
Yeah.
I've always been a tomboy. I've always wanted to be a little bit. I've always been like masculine. Like I've always just been like that, and
Yeah.
I've always kind of just been a bit rough and ready, and I like
Yeah.
that, right? I think it's good to stand out, right? That's what my brand is all about. And I followed her, and then she released like her really raw series of like her Olympia preps, and then her Arnold's prep. Now, obviously, Dana Lynn Bailey was the first Miss Olympia for women's physique. I think it was like 2013, maybe, I can't really remember, but
Yeah.
yeah. And since then, I want to be what she was, and you know, so I went into women's physique. I did a La Familia with 2 bros, won my category and then won the overall there. And then I went straight into the British finals and then got my pro card, which was, I think, probably the single most amazing day of my life. Like, obviously, like,
So
it's
that's
just the best.
interesting you say that. Like I'll obviously let you carry on shortly, but I've spoken to quite a few people that, and I don't feel this way, I may add, but I've spoken to quite a few people where they achieved their pro card and they felt nothing.
Really?
Yeah. Like they kind of were
Wow.
like, cool. So I guess they just thought like, okay, so what's next then?
Mm,
You
mm,
know?
mm.
So
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear someone else be like, honestly, it was the best day? Like,
Yeah.
did you have friends and family there, or were you said you're a
Yeah.
lone wolf? Were you on your own, or?
So that was actually probably the last show I had family at. Like obviously because now I'm overseas, I only have my partner normally with me. But during
Mm.
that, I think I had like maybe 10 people in the crowd. Like it was like wild, and it was just a fucking
It was
amazing
meant to be.
because. Yeah, exactly. Like that's what it should be. So yeah, everyone was there. It was fun and obviously my previous coach Tom Hames. Obviously, I was with Tom for like over 10 years, and he saw me grow from this little girl to this woman who just won her pro card. Like, and
Beast.
yeah, like that's it. Like, and I speak so highly of Tom. He is
Yes.
my brother, right? And I'm, godmother to his son. And like I said, he was a monumental part of my life for many reasons.
Yeah.
He was the one that allowed me to step away from full-time work. Like, he was the one that pushed me to ask my obviously fiance to marry me. Like, he was there when I bought the ring and things like that. So like that's also probably why it meant so much, because we had literally gone from him starting out with only 3 or 4 clients. It was like
Yes.
me, Sam Molpass, and a girl called Molly. And Molly was athletic figure British champion for fucking years.
I know
And
Molly. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Molly,
Molly's
yeah.
local to me.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Molly. And yeah, and like, and to be able to have such a nice career with Tom and be able to have that cherry on top, like, was just why it really meant so much. And I remember sitting in the gym once, and when you're like just at the fucking arse end of prep, your emotions are really fucking high. I just sat in the gym, and it was probably coming on to peak week, and you're doing those fucking flouncy gay workouts that are just completely pointless. And I just started crying. And I probably was crying every fucking living moment at that point in time. Not because I was sad, but just because I was like, I've never wanted something so fucking bad. And I'm just so excited. When you just have that pure passion for
It's
something.
emotion. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just like you're just overcome with this. You don't know what to do with these feelings
Yeah,
because
that's it.
you are when you are that deep into prep. I personally find like with yeah, again, kind of digressing slightly, I guess, but so I got late diagnosed with like autism and ADHD, right? So a
Mhm.
lot of things like really made so much sense. But like when I'm really lean, I really struggle to put certain like feelings and emotions into words.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like anyway, regardless if you've got, autism or anything, I feel like when you're lean, because your body is like running on empty,
Yeah.
you can't regulate or like you can't process these thoughts and emotions. So yeah, you just start crying at times.
Yeah.
It isn't because you like hate your life, you're not crying
Mhm.
because you want it to be over. You're not yes, it's hard, but you're not crying for that aspect. You're just like, I just want this. It's just raw. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. So yeah, so I think that's probably why it meant so much to me and the surrounding people, because we've been to war and back. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking, that saying is awful. But yeah, so yeah, I obviously got my pro card, had a year off season, and then debuted at the Legion Sports Festival in Reno, which was awesome. And they came second in my debut, which was wild. Like, looking back, I think at that time I was like gutted. Like, at the debut was such an emotional toll because I was so close, and like being so close, I think is really fucking hard.
Yes.
Because backstage, I remember getting retanned. So I obviously had like tan in the morning, and then obviously I think pre-judge was like early, and then obviously finals were late in the afternoon. So I
Yeah.
got tanned in between. And I remember someone being like, "Oh, so I'll see you at the O then." And I was like, "Fucking hell! Like, this could happen, right? Like, this is a thing."
Yeah.
So there I went, being like, "Oh, fucking hell, what might happen? Like, oh my god!" And then obviously to get second was fucking debilitating. Like,
I
to
think
have.
you're so right with the fact when you are so close,
Mhm.
because when previous shows, previous seasons, like it's not helpful when people will say come over to you and they'll be like, oh, you should have, and they're not, and it's people that you genuinely do trust. It's not people
Yeah.
blowing smoke up your ass. Like Tom's even said it to me on previous like shows, and we know Tom tells the truth,
Oh,
right?
fuck yeah.
Where a lot of people will be like, I don't understand that result.
Mm.
If you like did come second, and that second maybe then made you not get, say, the overall or the pro card or the
Yeah.
ticket to the O,
Mm.
that is almost so much worse than coming, say, sixth.
Yeah.
because when you come sixth, you're like, well, I didn't deserve that, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fine. Whereas when you've come so close, all it really is apples and oranges. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
something that a lot of people don't really remember or understand within a lot of bodybuilding is, and we all say, yes, it's subjective, but even though we use the sentence, it's a subjective sport, it really is. Like,
Mhm.
you can be up there and 1 week you could have the exact same peak. And then if it's a different set of judges, even if it's just what they tickle their fancy that day,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if they're like, oh yeah, grainy condition, yeah, I'm fucking in for that. And then
Mhm.
they'll choose that kind of path, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, yes, there's criteria they'll still match, but it can really be just on the day.
Yeah, that's it exactly. So yeah, so had the debut, and then I kind of left it at that. I didn't want to compete anymore that year. I was like, right, I'm just gonna come away and just get better. So I
That's
had
interesting.
another,
Like,
yeah,
I know I'm going to keep interjecting, but I think it's just like, it's really interesting that you came so close and
mm,
then you were like, I'm done then. Like, I'll come back better, and like went into, say, like an off season things, because
mm,
what you do see nowadays, whether right or wrongly, again, it might have been down to the fact that there weren't maybe as many shows, options for you and things, but
mm,
I saw even the season just gone. It's gonna sound a bit mean, but it is what it is. We're here to speak truth. People that place maybe like fifth or sixth at the British finals at Two Bros, and then they went to fly off to like the countries that didn't have many people there, and then they got
mm,
their pro card there.
yeah,
So there's a lot of people that they'll just like chase just
yeah,
until they're in a lineup that's just pretty shit, just
yeah,
to get the achievement, you know?
yeah. That I'm like, I've always said this, and I remember saying this to a client as well. Like, I would much rather stand with the top of the top and lose and get fucking bottom than stand against people who have come from Yemen and just
Yeah,
like and win. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, and
entirely agree. I've
yeah, and
said
like
that so much.
that's it, because especially like when you get a pro card, like why would I want to get a pro card against people who I can easily beat? And that sounds really arrogant, but
No,
why
it's
would I? Why would I want to get a pro card and then go up against people and just get fucking shafted? Like, say you just don't go up against any Olympians, but you're just in a really great group of people and
yeah,
then just get shafted. And then 9 times out of 10, a lot of people who get shafted are like, oh, what the fuck you want? Because they're surrounded by yes men. And I would
yeah,
much rather be in a room where people are telling me something, oh, you need to improve this, rather than actually know what you're perfect. I'm not, no one is perfect. Tell me what is wrong so I can improve. And I
yeah,
think that's what's beautiful about bodybuilding is it's a consistent progression in like mental,
yeah.
it's progression in physical. Like, obviously I know it's hard, and obviously nothing is easy, nothing worth working for is easy, right? But like, I'd much rather just see people go into a lineup and be like, oh, I got third, but you know what, that's okay, like, because I'm up against some amazing people, like, so yeah, I'm 100% with that. So yeah, so did the second debut, went into an off season, and then the year later I went to Texas, and competed at
Unreal.
Sarah Villegas' show, who obviously was previous Miss Olympia. So I
Yeah.
competed at her show and got fourth,
Okay.
which
How did you
again
feel
was
off
one
the
of
back
those
of that?
things. Yeah, you know what? I was up against a couple of Olympians. So I was up against Ivy Hine, who was top five at the O. And yeah, and you know what? Like, what was really fucking cool was I got to stand next to her, and I honestly thought I pushed her. And that's what we're there for, right? I wasn't going to it being like I'm going to win, because fuck, I'm still very young in this sport, right? And politics are a thing, right? They're not going to let some fucking UK girl who's done doing her second show beat an Olympian.
Yeah.
Um, so arguably, I thought, and a lot of people said I could have been third, but again, it's apples and oranges, right? It is what
Yeah.
it is. So yeah, but fucking brilliant show. We were really looked after. And yeah, that was fucking epic. So then went from Texas to Alicante, and did the European show, which was again a fucking brilliant show, and placed
I was
third
about to
there.
say another unreal show, mate. I
Yeah,
won't lie, like
really good show.
all these shows, I'm that person that pays for the live stream, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I think they're just so incredible. Something that I'm so excited to be able to be a part of is, I don't know if you'll mind me saying, but like Nat, with the things that we're going to be doing with him and his
Mhm.
shows, is being able to have the opportunity to see these shows in the flesh, because
Yeah,
there's nothing like it. Like the
yeah,
Alicante one, the Texas one, like, yeah, they're both like so high on the list for me.
yeah, absolutely. And they are just really well run. I don't think I've really met anyone that isn't nice either. Like,
Yeah.
so
Do you
that
find that about America though?
our Americans are the best.
They're
Like,
so
so
nice.
good, mate. And
They're
like,
so...
this is the thing, right? And this is what's very different in UK and the States is you'd walk into a gym in the States and actually a lot of people kind of know who you are. Like if you're a pro or whatever, like, and they'll be like, right, oh, what can we do for you? Like, here's a pass, like just what. Whereas in the UK, no one really gives a fuck. Like, and you're not kind of like stared at. It's just, whereas it's just like they'll do whatever they can to support you in what you need. And even when I was in Reno, like it was just people were just even well everywhere I've been, like everywhere was just fucking the best. And backstage everyone's lush, and it's just yeah, it's just
I,
brilliant.
I really found that. So obviously it was my first time ever in America, right?
Mm.
And just even like the days leading up to it, like going to the gyms and things like that, we'd end up having conversations. Like we went to a nutrition shop to literally just buy some like cream of rice or whatever. We were there for like 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Like everyone, I feel like the biggest thing in the UK is everyone is, of course, you're in competition, but everyone looks at that competition as if they're going to kill you for it.
Yeah,
Like, it's as if, like, whereas in America, I feel like, yes, you're competition, but they also want to see you win. Like,
yeah,
it's not like, oh, we can't both win. Like, you backstage, like at the Ben Weeder that I did, right? There was incredible ladies. I was sitting there like, what the fuck am I doing here? I had a bit
mm.
of an identity crisis. I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I here? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
what is going on? And all of these ladies, right, just mind-blowingly good. Yeah, backstage, everyone's like talking, like taking photos together. Then after, it wasn't just that. It's like sharing our posts on Instagram,
Yeah,
like commenting on things, like like really even now, 6 weeks, 7 weeks later, however long it's been, there's girls that I met there that are showing me so much support that I've never had in the UK.
yeah, yeah,
It's,
absolutely.
it's made
It's
me want
crazy.
I want to move, I'll be honest.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly the same. Like I would, if I could, I would go over there because I
Can
think
we go?
there's nothing. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Can we do it?
Yeah, I love the States. And I always say this to anyone that like it turns pro, or actually just anyone, if you can afford to go and compete over there, because it just shits on UK shows. They just shits on us, like, do
You're
you
gonna get
know what I mean?
cancelled so many times.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I
yeah.
agree.
So
I think even with so now I've qualified for like the OCB Yorton Cup, right, which is like probably one of the biggest shows. Like there's actually great prize money even for women there, right?
wow, yeah,
And so my next season, I'm pretty much planning on just being in America, and
yeah, fair.
it's just because the opportunities out there as well. Like it's mad, isn't it? But anyway,
Yeah.
back to that show.
So yeah, Alicante. So placed third in Alicante.
Yeah,
Again against the girl that came second was Masters Olympia. She was Miss Masters Olympia, so she was just ridiculous.
yeah.
And then the lady that won, unfortunately, in the end, she couldn't go to the O because she didn't have a visa. So that was annoying. But so yeah, but it was. I think a lot of the time with women's physique, and I think this is well, not, I say unfortunately, but it's not unfortunate. It is a size game. And I think the lines between women's physique and women's bodybuilding are becoming blurred because, believe it or not, I'm one of the smaller girls in the ring. Like, and a lot of people, I think so many people are like, oh, you should make that for women's bodybuilding. Right, I look big on my own, but when you stand up against fucking other girls that are like fucking jacked, like you look tiny.
How tall are you? How tall are
I'm
you?
5 foot. I reckon I'm 5'2", but Amanda Winston thinks I'm 5 foot. No, I thought I was 5'3". Amanda Winston thinks I'm 5'2" because Amanda's 5'3" and I'm smaller than Amanda. So
Okay,
that's kind of
maybe
how
let's
I've
get
worked
you
out.
on.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I'm probably about 5'2". I
Yeah,
think.
so
Yeah.
obviously when you're shorter as well, like you just said, on your own, you can look pretty damn disgusting. Do you know what I mean? But say
Mm.
if I mean, I don't know if there's like enough competitors for you to be in like height classes and things as well. But um
Yeah, I mean, I know they've spoken about like weight classes, like weight caps, like classic, but I think it would just cause girls to do stupid shit, and it's just
yeah,
not worth the risk. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
there's not even enough of us to really
that's what I
warrant
was
it, I
thinking.
suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
So
would
say
just
you're
be.
then next to someone who's, you've just mentioned there, like a masters Olympia athlete, right? So,
Mm.
you could be standing on stage with someone who's been competing for 20 more years, who's got a foot on you as well.
Yeah,
Obviously, they're
yeah.
gonna just like drown you realistically,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Whereas I'm
absolutely.
almost like the opposite to you. So I'm like 5'8".
Mm.
So I look quite good on my own because I kind of do fill my frame, but then
Mm.
I stand next to a shorty and I look like a stringy piece of piss. It's so annoying.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
it, isn't it? It's crazy.
no.
Yeah, yeah, because the lady that won Alicante, she must have been about 5'8", 5'9". She was just an Amazonian of a woman, and when you stand next to that, you're just like, yeah. It completely exposes you as an athlete.
Mhm.
So yeah, but again, it was a brilliant show. I then went into an off season from that. And ever since I've been in off season, so it would have been 2 years since I've got on stage. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's really young, but as females, in my opinion, we shouldn't be taking 3, 4, 5 months off and then getting back on stage. I think it's really silly. If you want to make good fucking solid progression in your physique, you should be having a minimum of a year off.
Or
Like I
just any progress, I'll be
Oh,
honest, because
absolutely.
if you think about if it, a natural assisted doesn't fucking matter in this instance either, because if
Mm,
you think about if someone is finishing prep in say like I don't know maybe November time or even October and then they start a prep again in like March April, like your body hasn't had chance to catch up on whatever's
mm.
just happened. Like speaking about even like your time of the month cycle, even that side of things, I'm already I'm like 5, 6 kilo up from stage, right?
Yeah.
Intentionally, may I add. But I won't, I know I always lose my period at like 66 kilo, which is another 4 kilo away.
Mm,
There's no way that I'm going to be able to, get to that within a healthy way as well,
yeah.
and then have like a healthy body for a period of time to
Mm,
then when you go back into a prep, if you don't give your body that time to just reset, you're
mm.
going to then diet and you probably won't be able to diet properly because
Yeah.
your body will be pushing against you realistically.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I did my first show, it took me probably well over 6 months to feel human again because I
Yeah.
got so disgustingly lean
Yeah.
that you can't come back from that. And I think a lot of people think they're going to be fine in a week's time after. I honestly actually think that post show window is 10,000 times harder than the prep itself
Yeah.
because you're going through so many fucking different hunger signaling hormones, for this, and you don't have that. You just kind of have that, oh, well, what's going on? Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, so I've always had longer off seasons. I know as a pro, a lot of people frown upon that because they think that once you're kind of if your face isn't in the face of the judges all the time, that you'll basically be forgotten, which it won't be isn't the case. Like I think
Yeah, I feel like anyway, that's like it's not your priority. Like I
yeah,
understand, yes, we've spoken like there's obviously politics involved within the sport and making sure that you are like being a face of women's physique, like someone that is representing the sport, right?
mm,
But at the same time, if you are doing that, then surely every time that you compete and you look the same, if anything, I find that insulting to the sport
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's not bodybuilding, is it? It's body maintaining.
That's it, exactly. And like, if anyone, and I'm sure you're the same as me, Han, is like, my biggest fear is to stand on stage looking the same. Like, I want every time I want to get on stage, is I want to make an impact. I'm not there to play around. I'm not there to fucking like. I love bodybuilding. Like, I love being on stage, but like, I'm not there to be or make up numbers. I'm there to win. I'm there to fucking be the best package I can. So if I get on stage and I'm like, oh, that's Sarah Bradley, like she looks the fucking same. That's my biggest fear. Do you know what I mean? That so having these longer off seasons also allows me to have a fucking life. Like I love bodybuilding, but I'm probably one of those people, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, the word balance, but like, I have an off season, I get my meals done, and I fucking train hard. But I also have a fiance that also I need to give back to.
Yeah.
Like, that is so important. She comes through everything. She's been through fucking hell and back with me, and she's still around. So my time in my off season is to give back to her, because she gives me so much every phase that I'm in.
Yeah.
So, and that is so important to me. And that's also why I have long off seasons, because mentally I need a fucking break. Like,
You need to be able to be a partner, right? Because when
absolutely,
you
yeah.
are in prep and you're like, okay, I've just got to tick these boxes in front. I say tick them, we don't just tick them. But
Yeah.
I've just got to do what is necessary today, especially with how you've taken your business. You know, you're sitting there X amount of hours a day. You're going to be working. You're going to be in the gym, meal prepping. You're going to be doing cardio steps. So realistically, what has she got, an hour or two a day? You know, so
That's it,
that's
yeah.
not how it should be for years on end. And I entirely agree. Funnily enough, I even said to Nat, like, this post show has been the best I've ever had, right? But that being said, I'm post Christmas. I've gone back to obviously my normal baseline, as you do, but I'm ravenous still. And I'm 7 weeks post show. I am ravenous. And there's still some days where I fully just like tap out.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I mean, I look like shit right now, guys, but I'm a bit ill. Just like that. But I've said one of the sentences that does kind of go round and round in my head is like, I can't wait to be able to be a girlfriend to you again. Like, where I am able to be like, oh, like, I'm running around and being silly and stuff, because I'm still almost loading. I'm still buffering.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I give so much to, and again, you'll completely understand, like, you know, when you've got your check-ins or whatever, but because my business is so customer based, right? Like, all my video calls, in-person lessons, like posing lessons, of course, like, all of that can take so much from me that I'll finish the day and I'll just be like,
just social out, mate.
yeah, and I feel so terrible because he's heard me on the phone be like, yeah, woo, go girl, like, give me some head. And then I'll turn that like video off and I'm like, you're right.
Yeah, it's like, where's that with me? I've gave it all to her.
Like, she took it, mate. I'm sorry. So yeah, I think a long off season, like, there's and I entirely agree with being able to come back, make sure every single time you are making an impression, like, even through like my natural preps, right? My first 2019, 51 kilo. The next prep, 57 kilo, but I was still a bit fat. And then, you know, this prep, almost 58 kilo on stage, peeled, the same as 2019. I'm sorry, but that's over 7 kilos difference between 2019 to 2025.
Yeah.
That's not the same person, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
if you don't have that thought, then I don't think you should be bodybuilding. If you are, people say they love like competing, but not in how you say it.
Yeah.
Say they love competing, but really they like the glamour of show day. You love competing because you're like, no, I'm coming fucking for it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's basically been my career so far. Obviously the Olympia is the aim, and I'd like to be top 5 within the Olympia in the next 5 years. I would like to think that I could win it, but I mean, never say never, and I've always wanted to make that impact. So I've got a couple of shows on the cards this year, but I'm keeping kind of like that very close to my chest because I think the pressure of releasing the shows that I did last year, it just had a bit more kickback. And again, like I've always been, that Dorian Yates where you're a bit of a shadow. Like, I'll just turn up and I'll just enjoy it. And I mean, people will be able to tell because my face gets so fucking bad when I'm lean. Honestly, Han, I look so fucking bad. I look like a drowned rat. It's awful. I remember this doing a check-in for one of my lovely old clients, Susanna. She moved on quite a while ago, and she was just like, "Holy fuck, your face, son!" And I was like, "Oh, thanks." I was like, if I
Take
can.
it, take it as a win. I
Yeah.
have this, like, you can't see in the slide, but I have this one forehead vein that
Love it.
literally is like this whenever I get really lean. Like, I'll just be training and it'll be like a little like detector of like how do you keep stamina this lean.
Love it.
But no, I think
Yeah.
you shouldn't ever feel like the pressure to
Mhm.
share your show dates. You know, it's personal to you, and
Absolutely.
I think with, you know, the exposure or the Instagram, like YouTube, things like that, and any all of those things, especially, you know, you're logging on the Trained by JP site and things. Do you find though working with, I don't know if you work with any other companies actually, but do you find working with them that you've had any pressure to maybe do announcements like that or even do shows sooner than that?
Oh, you know what, Han? Like JP, like Jordan and Corin are
I mean, they
incredible.
get
Like, yeah,
it.
like I have no pressure whatsoever to compete. Like, it's
Yeah.
not in my contract. Like, as long as I just turn up and look after the company and promote the company as an athlete, which honestly, like, I've known Jordan and Corin for fucking years. And funnily enough, they actually asked me to be an athlete a good few times, but at the time of my life, I just wasn't I was with someone else, I think, at the time, and then the second time they asked me, I think I just said no because something happened, and then
Mm,
obviously the third time they asked me, which was obviously a year ago now, I was like, why wouldn't I want to be a part of the biggest growing brand in the UK,
yeah.
and in the world, to be fair, at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's never any pressure, and that's really amazing because I know there are quite a few companies out there that ask you to compete X, Y, and Z amount per year or whatever. But no, Jordan and Corin have like they've just been the best. Like I had a really kind of sticky situation last year where I kind of had a big drop off and I lost a little bit of money and I said, look, I need a bit of help and they gave me a job. And I obviously have my coaching business now, which is flourishing and it's just the best ever. But you know, I'm as we said the other day, Han, like I want to make sure that I have enough money banked away so I can go and compete.
Yeah.
For me, like if I would eat beans on toast for 5 meals a day, just knowing that I could go and compete.
Yeah.
And they looked after me in that regards. They gave me a job, which I still do alongside my online coaching business, but I just dropped my hours. So like, you know, and find me another fucking sponsor that would do that. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm very,
They
very
care.
lucky
They
to
care.
have
And again,
absolutely.
like they when I say they get it, like obviously Corinne and her kind of career there. We know that JP is hopefully going to be stepping back on stage as well. But regardless of whether they compete or not, like even when Corinne went into, you know, the different sports that she's gone into, like
Yeah.
they just love whatever they put their heart and soul into, they just love and they flourish with that. And I think they're always trying to help others that have that same mindset, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I've been very lucky with like contracts with like sponsors. Like I was with Alpha for ages, and me
Oh
and
God,
Adrian, yeah, like me and Adrian are really close,
yeah,
and we still are very close.
yeah,
Like you know, so I've been really lucky. And when I kind of came into this industry and was noticed by a few people, like I was taken on by Josh Bridgman, and he was my first official sponsor, 1MR. And for a company to go out of their way and sponsor a women's physique competitor is already a little bit, oh wow, so actually instead of kind of finding someone who's socially acceptable,
yeah,
like they've actually gone out and been like, you know what, actually no, I'm going to try and give more back to us, like a category that isn't more socially acceptable. So like it's kind of like one of those things. But I've been very, very lucky, and I adore Jordan and Cora, and I think they've done what the seeing what goes on in a business as big as theirs,
yes,
it's actually crazy. And like the growth of that business in the past 12 months, obviously, you know, we are a small team. Like it's like me and really it's like my manager and then two other lads. We've just taken on another. Like there's only five of us going and working a multi-million-pound company. Like it's crazy. Like so if you're buying from JP and you have an issue, please just bear with us. There's only five of us.
yeah.
Like so yeah, but it's yeah, I'm very lucky, very lucky. So that's kind of where I'm at. So
I think
fortunately.
with, you know, yeah, with obviously you've obviously mentioned that you're going to be stepping on stage, but we're not going to speak about shows again. That's absolutely fine. Do you have any maybe specific goals that you want to achieve this year?
Mm.
I guess like it's always going to be the the road to the O, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But is
absolutely.
there anything that maybe is a little bit more personal along the way? Is it whether you're going to be against a certain athlete that you've been against before, and you want to be like, no, like I want to stand toe to toe with them, even if I don't win, but I just want to see how I stand, you know?
Mm.
Do you have any personal kind of goals in that sense?
I wouldn't say I had goals. I just want to win. And to be fair, this year, like, because I think, like, straight up, like, I think, like, with obviously, I switched to coaches, so I'm now under Callum.
Yeah.
There was no animosity and anything. Everyone was like, "Oh, what's going on with Sarah and Tom?"
Yeah.
We literally it just came to a natural end, right? And that's
Yeah.
just because everyone wants some sass, but there was
We
literally
just
none.
wanted to see. Same with Cuba and I. Legit.
I was like, we just
I cried on the phone to him because I was
Yeah.
so sorry.
Yeah. It just so yeah. So then I moved over to Callum. Callum was doing my training for Callum did my training for about a year anyway,
Mhm.
so it was like an easy transition because he kind of knew what I was like as an athlete.
Yeah.
So I've had my off season with Callum, and I think what's really going to be exciting is just a completely different approach. I mean, obviously elements will be very similar, right? But just kind of experiencing a new prep, like the starting point is very different, and I feel it's probably the most confident I have going into a prep in the fact that I know the package that I'll bring will be very different.
Yeah.
So I feel most confident in the fact that I will win at least a show this year, and I honestly feel that. And I've never felt that confidence before. And I think in this industry, it's really hard to be able to be like, you know what, actually, I'm fucking good at what I do,
Yeah.
because everyone's like, I'm confident.
No,
But,
it's
do you know what I
misplaced
mean?
though. Yeah, it's
Mm.
massively misplaced. Like people believe that if you say like, no, I deserve to win, that they think that you're like arrogant, and like you can still say like other people are great, but trust me, like I've got everything that I need to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing cocky about that. That is just having confidence in not just your own abilities to perform, but having the confidence in every single day that you've had leading up to this moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's
For
so
sure.
yeah, that's kind of where I want to be. And you know, I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason, right? If I don't go, then that's okay. Like my time, it's not an if, it's a when, right? And you know, women's physique is predominantly made up of 35 plus aged women, like really probably closer to 40. I'm only 29. Like, so these ladies have 10, 15, 20 years in the gym on top of me. And maturity builds density. Like, again, I'm very, very young. So it will come. And I'll just let it come when it like, it will just happen when it happens. Do you know what I mean? But I do feel confident going into this season and being more comfortable with the approach that I'm having, and not feeling like I have to fucking blast it all over social media and things like that. Because you know, I want women's physique to be more in the limelight, and I do feel that there are things that we can do, and we are doing them, right? But I think I took too much on my shoulders, and that's why I dropped out of prep last year, because I was just taking too much on. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with it, and I think it's going to be really, really fun. So I'm excited, and I'm excited to travel again. You know, like we're going to go to Louisiana and obviously Toronto. So obviously put two and two together, but that's where we'll be going. So it should be really good. Yeah, that's really
Amazing.
fun.
I think what's going to be obviously great is, even though you don't maybe like say exactly how far into prep or out of prep like you are, like we're still going to be able to hear updates from you of like whatever's been changing, like if there's been any changes to like, oh, okay, I'm like fucking digging now, mate. Like, if you turn up with your hood up and like rat face, then I know what's going down, you know?
Yeah, people will work it out. It's just fucking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it
Like,
doesn't, but no, I think actually I would love for us to like leave it there for episode 1. I think that is like the perfect introduction to the Sara Bradley, and that everyone obviously wants to know, and it's been such a nice kind of experience with even me just being able to converse with you and like interjecting certain parts and be able to get to know your journey that little bit more as well. And I think it's the perfect introduction to the Under the Lights podcast, and
absolutely
go into episode 2 another time.
I mean, well, kind of like, obviously people know me for my drug talk as well. Like, I'm very open about my steroid usage, so that's obviously something that we can dive. I think it's what's really good about this, Hannah, is you've got obviously the natural side of things, and obviously I'm the assistant side of things. So like we have two really good perspectives about that.
And
So
the
yeah,
other side is like obviously my master's degree is in pharmacology, so like I actually do
she's fucking badass, by the way.
so like I actually fully understand like whenever Nat and I are having conversations regarding it, like I'm like, oh yeah, and this kinetic, and so I'm able to even discuss it, even though I can't say anecdotally
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, no, that's
But
sick.
yeah, I mean, if anyone is, hopefully you're still listening to this, but hey, if anyone is still listening,
Yeah.
this is obviously going up on YouTube, Spotify. We will be having the Instagram, as Sarah mentioned right at the beginning as well. But if you want to know anything in particular or want us to speak on specific topics, we've got quite a few things lined up and some really incredible guests lined up as well, that we can't wait to speak to, get to know more. But if you do have anything, like I say, please drop a comment down below, and of course give us a, I'm gonna do it, the share, subscribe.
Oh, I love it. That's such a ride.
Give us a shout
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But no, it's been amazing, mate. So thank you so much for like sharing that, and I'm really excited about the next one.
Yeah, should be good. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and all that good stuff, and look forward to the next one.